A few days later, Leon, Rosweiss, and Muon waited outside. Rosweiss and Leon noticed something and turned their gaze to the sky. Muon, filled with excitement, pointed upward and signaled for them to come closer. A massive dragon flew over them with great speed. Its immense size caught Leon's attention, and he observed it in surprise, noting that it was several times larger than Rosweiss's transformed form. The dragon approaching them was the Leviathan, a giant dragon renowned for its size and endurance. Rosweiss, watching the Leviathan, remarked that despite its massive size, it was not particularly powerful. Its exceptional endurance and stable emotions made it an ideal transporter for the Dragon Clan. Leon then asked what she meant by emotionally stable. Rosweiss explained that a Leviathan, due to its calm temperament, would never lose its temper, even once, throughout its thousands of years of life. For this reason, the Academy often employed them to transport baby dragons. As they continued observing, the Leviathan released Noah onto the ground. She landed gracefully and turned to Rosweiss to announce her return. Rosweiss welcomed Noah warmly, her gaze softening at the sight of her daughter. Muon quickly rushed to Noah and hugged her tightly, expressing how much she had missed her. Noah, with a slight blush on her face, looked at Leon and tried to speak to him, but her words faltered, breaking mid-sentence. Leon noticed her hesitation and thought to himself that she still wasn't accustomed to calling him Dad. Leon and Rosweiss, holding their daughter's hands, walked inside together. On the way, Leon expressed his happiness at Noah's return, mentioning that he and her mother had prepared many of her favorite dishes to celebrate her homecoming. After heading inside the Silver Dragon Castle, Noah presented her test papers to Leon and Rosweiss. She began listing her achievements one by one. For basics of alchemy machinery, she had secured first place with full marks. For Introduction to Magic, Young Dragon Edition, she achieved first place with full marks. Again, for Introduction to Magic, Young Dragon Edition, she achieved first place with full marks. For History of the Dragon Clan, Young Dragon Volume, she maintained her streak, earning first place with full marks. As she detailed her results, Rosweiss smiled proudly while looking over the papers, her admiration evident. Beside her, Muon observed with bright, curious eyes, captivated by her sister's accomplishments. However, when Noah hesitated slightly, her voice grew softer as she mentioned the last subject. For all-round physical fitness, she had only scored 95 points and didn't get first place. She apologized for the shortcoming, looking slightly dejected. Rosweiss, still feeling immensely proud, reassured her daughter in a soft and gentle tone, saying there was no need to apologize because her performance was already incredibly impressive. Muon, agreeing with her mother, wholeheartedly held Noah's hand and expressed her support. In her heart, her sister was the best, no matter what. Meanwhile, Leon took the test papers and examined them carefully. As he looked at his two daughters, a smile of mixed emotions crossed his face. He thought about how Noah wasn't very good at expressing her feelings, while Muon expressed hers perhaps too openly. As their father, he felt it was his role to balance things out. After reviewing the all-round physical fitness test paper, Leon commented on the results. He noted that activities like running, bench pressing, and pull-ups were all basic physical training. Considering that Noah was competing with young dragons who were only 4 or 5 years old, it was natural for her physical fitness to fall slightly behind theirs. Then, showing the paper to Noah, Leon pointed out that she had won 9 out of 10 actual combat matches, giving her the highest winning rate in the class. This, he explained, demonstrated her superior strategy and fighting skills, despite not being as physically strong. He encouraged her not to worry about being third, reassuring her that she would have plenty of opportunities to surpass them in the future. Hearing her father's words, Noah nodded in understanding. She then mentioned that her mother had told her that father had been the top student in every subject when he was in school. Leon then explained that when he first entered school, he wasn't at the top of the class. However, he gradually rose to first place through sheer hard work and perseverance. With a reassuring smile, Leon told Noah that she still had plenty of time and shouldn't let one mistake get her down. He believed she could do better. Determined, Noah clenched her tiny fists and nodded, understanding his words. Muan, full of enthusiasm and curiosity, asked her parents who would win if Dad fought Mom, given how powerful Dad is. In response, Leon and Rossweiss placed their hands on their chests, each confident in their own answer. Leon, with certainty, said it would be him, while Rossweiss declared it would be her. The two of them exchanged glares, the tension between them rising as their rivalry sparked. Leon, chuckling, recalled his combat training, boasting that no one could match him in hand-to-hand, weapon, or magic combat. He insisted, of course, that he was the better fighter. Rossweiss, folding her arms and narrowing her eyes, responded with a smirk. While she hadn't won as many honors in the academy as Leon, she focused on winning the key games. We might suspect this could be a little white lie given Rossweiss's expression, but they would see about it. The rivalry between Leon and Rossweiss ignited further as they stared at each other, their competitive spirits fully engaged. As Rossweiss teased Leon, asking if it was because he had never managed to beat her that he married her, she implied that he had been captured by her. Their conversation is filled with hidden meanings, especially since the children are present and listening. They have to hide the past. Leon, with a smirk, responds that it was actually because she failed to beat him, referencing their time in the dungeon. Leon says that because of that, they have two lovely daughters, Muan and Noah. Suddenly, Leon and Rossweiss dash out of the room. Rossweiss, not missing a beat, suggests they go outside and have a fight. Leon, eager to demonstrate his strength, agrees, saying he's been wanting to show it for a long time. Muan and Noah awkwardly watch them before running after their parents. Noah grabs Muan's hand and runs to catch up with them. Muan, unsure, asks if they're really going to fight. Noah responds, saying they should follow and see. Outside the Silver Dragon Castle, Leon and Rossweiss begin warming up, preparing for their match. Meanwhile, Muan and Noah sit on a bench to observe. Muan says that she's also very curious about who is stronger, Dad or Mom, asking if her guess is right. Noah, recalling what their teacher had said, answers that watching masters compete more often can help improve their own fighting skills. With a mocking tone, Rossweiss looks at Leon and suggests that his body probably hasn't fully recovered enough to fight her yet. She asks if she's right. Leon, still warming up with a smirk, responds confidently, asking what would happen if he wasn't fully recovered. He adds that there aren't many chances to fight the Silver Dragon Queen, so he must seize this opportunity. Rossweiss, with a light smile, suggests making the fight more interesting by placing a bet. Leon, curious, asks what the bet would be. Rossweiss, smirking, explains that if he wins, she won't touch him for a month. However, if she wins, he'll have to fulfill one of her requests. Leon, hearing her proposal, becomes serious and wonders what kind of demands she might make. But as long as he wins, it's worth the risk. With teary eyes, Leon happily thinks that taking a month off sounds easy. He never would have dared to think about this under normal circumstances. With determination, Leon agrees to the bet, pointing his finger at Rossweiss. Rossweiss, still smiling confidently, says, "Let's get started." Leon, too, smiles confidently, a light grin forming as he looks at Rossweiss. The fight between them begins with intensity. Both Leon and Rossweiss use their strengths, fighting evenly against each other. At the most thrilling stage of the duel, Leon discovered a flaw Rossweiss' defense. He seized the opportunity and prepared to use his final move against her. Could he defeat her in this fight? After the warm-up, Leon and Rossweiss locked eyes, their gazes firm and resolute. They studied each other carefully, unwilling to miss even the slightest movement. Both awaited the signal to begin the duel. A gentle breeze swept across the training ground, lifting the sand into the air as if transforming it into a battlefield. Meanwhile, Noah and Muan sat on a bench nearby, eating popcorn as they eagerly watched their parents' impending duel. Muan happily swung her legs, savoring the sweet taste of the popcorn. Inwardly, she praised how delicious it was. Just as she was enjoying her treat, Her swinging leg accidentally knocked over a bottle of pineapple juice sitting next to her. She let out a surprised exclamation, reaching out in an attempt to catch it. But it was already too late. The pineapple juice toppled and spilled onto the ground. Leon and Rossweiss, already on edge, turned their wary gazes toward the fallen bottle, mistaking it for the signal to start the fight. The instant the paper cup of juice hit the ground, Leon and Rossweiss rushed toward each other like lightning. Muan stared at the spilled drink with deep regret. "Ah, my pineapple juice," she murmured. Noah, however, kept his eyes on the duel, calmly remarking, "The fight has started." Leon was the first to launch an attack. His expression was serious, showing how much he respected the duel. With a powerful stomp, he propelled himself into the air. Clenching his right fist, he gathered energy before swinging a charged punch toward Rossweiss. Rossweiss quickly noticed Leon's move. She crossed her arms in front of her chest to defend herself, planting her feet firmly to stabilize her stance. Leon's punch, charged with immense energy, slammed into her crossed arms. Though Rossweiss successfully blocked the blow, the impact cracked the ground beneath her feet, revealing the sheer power of Leon's attack. Rossweiss seized the moment when Leon left an opening. With precision, she extended her tail from below, aiming to sweep it toward his chin. Leon, sensing the danger from below, braced himself, gritted his teeth, and leaned back with all his strength, narrowly dodging Rossweiss's attack. When she saw that her strike had missed, she immediately swung her tail again, launching another attack at him. Leon leaned back further, supporting himself on the ground with both hands. With a swift motion, he performed a backflip, once again evading her attack. As Rossweiss's assault ended and before she could react, Leon shifted his position. He transitioned from supporting himself with both hands to balancing on one hand and quickly changed his direction. In one fluid motion, he extended his left foot, channeling magic into it, and kicked Rossweiss with all his might. Rossweiss reacted quickly, raising her arms to block his attack. However, this strike was much more forceful than Leon's initial assault. Although she managed to block it, the sheer force of the kick sent her flying backward. Her feet left deep marks in the sand as she skidded across the ground. She extended one leg behind her and gently placed a hand on the ground, barely managing to stabilize her balance. Rossweiss furrowed her brow, her gaze fixed cautiously on Leon. As she replayed the strength and precision of his recent attack in her mind, she realized she was at a disadvantage in terms of physical combat. "I don't have an edge over him in physical skills," she thought. "I need to create some distance." Rossweiss decided to shift her approach. She resolved to use her dragon flame to gain the space she needed to turn the fight in her favor. Rossweiss brought her left hand closer to her right, channeling powerful purple magic. The energy swirled around her hands, lifting the surrounding sand and radiating immense power. Leon chuckled softly as he observed her preparation. "It seems the queen doesn't want to fight me up close anymore," he remarked. Rossweiss ignored his comment, her focus unwavering. As long as I can beat you, nothing else matters." She divided the gathered dragon flame into several smaller portions, then waved her hands outward, sending all the flames hurtling toward Leon. Leon noticed the approaching flames and quickly sprinted to his right, doing his best to avoid it. But when Rossweiss's dragon flame struck the ground, it erupted with a deafening roar, creating several deep craters in the training field. The force of the impact lifted sand into the air, scattering it violently. Rossweiss kept a sharp eye on the direction Leon was moving, quickly waving several dragon flames toward him to block his path. Meanwhile, Noah and Muan sat nearby, watching intently. They could tell that the current situation seemed unfavorable for their father. Muan stopped eating her popcorn, worry evident on her face as she stared at Leon. "Is Dad going to lose?" "He's been running away this whole time," she asked, her voice filled with concern. Noah picked up a piece of popcorn, her expression calm. Using what she had learned in school, she began to analyze the combat methods their parents were using. "Not necessarily," she replied. "Dad is using simple physical techniques to attack and evade Mom's attacks, while Mom is relying on dragon flames to keep her distance and create sudden opportunities. This shows that In close combat, Mom doesn't seem confident in defeating him. She popped the popcorn into her mouth, finishing her analysis while chewing. Hearing Noah's explanation, Muan's worry shifted to admiration. A bright smile spread across her face as she leaned closer to Noah, looking at her with sparkling eyes. "Noah, you know so much!" Noah's cheeks turned slightly red at the praise, and she looked away shyly. "These are just things the teacher taught us in class," she mumbled. Back in the training ground, Rossweiss continued to pursue Leon. She extended her right hand, sending more dragon flames flying toward him with practiced precision. It seemed she had already realized that Leon couldn't fully unleash his strength while dodging her magical attacks. A sly smile played on her lips. "Leon, aren't you supposed to be so fast? Show me," Rossweiss taunted, her tone light yet challenging. She continued launching the dragon flames, each one flying toward Leon with incredible speed. The flames exploded behind him as he narrowly dodged them. A few even came dangerously close, grazing him as they passed. The explosion sent sand and debris flying, some of which hit Leon's back. Leon continued dodging the dragon flames, occasionally glancing back. Not only am I fast, but I'm also tough," he said with confidence. Rossweiss responded with a disdainful smile, clearly unimpressed. She knew his words were nothing more than empty bravado. "Let's see how tough you really are," she muttered under her breath. A new strategy quickly formed in her mind as she prepared to strike again. Gathering the dragon flames in her hands, she pressed them together, focusing her energy as if condensing the flames into something more powerful. The dragon flames chasing Leon from behind suddenly merged into two massive, blazing forms. The two large flames moved with purpose, wrapping around Leon from both sides, cutting off any escape route. Leon's eyes widened as he noticed the enormous flames closing in on him. He scanned his surroundings desperately, but no clear path of escape presented itself. So, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next chapter.